find jobs from outside of Canada.
You want more kids.
So are we taking the dogs?
Will you eventually move to Alberta or stay in British Columbia?
Who are you leaving behind when you move to Canada?
How much luggage are we going to be taking?
You want horses on your new property in Canada. How much were your flights? Hey guys!
Hey guys!
A bit of a different video than normal. We don't really get much time to do videos these days unless it's when the kids are asleep and then it's pitch black. So we decided to do it when we were eating dinner, and well, it's an old trend going around YouTube, but we're trying to bring it back. It's called a MUKBANG or a MUKBANG, or I don't know how you say it. Basically, if you Google it, you'll see it, but it's just eating delicious food. Usually it's takeaway, but
we're too far away from any takeaways.
Yeah, we are, and we're trying to be healthy anyway. So we have made ourselves healthy pizza, and you basically eat delicious food and then you talk about it and you answer questions that people have asked you. So that's what we're doing today. I've got the questions on my phone from you guys asking. Some are from YouTube, but most of them are from our Instagram account. So if you're not following us already, go and follow us. And we'll get into discussing what we're eating today.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah, so basically it is a wrap, like, you know, how you just make a lunch wrap, and then we've put tomato paste on the bottom, a little bit of, anyway, I'll show you guys. A little bit of, I don't know whether it's going to focus. A little bit of barbecue sauce. It's got chicken breast that we cut up and cooked, and then a little bit of bacon, tomatoes. What else?
Well, I've got mushrooms on mine.
Connor's got mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms. And
cheese. You got feta cheese?
I've got, it's vegan feta cheese because I can't have dairy. And yeah, that's what we're having. So, and as you can tell, I really like onions on mine. And I don't get to have normal cheese. So is it good?
I'm starving, so.
Should we dive into it?
Yeah, let's get started. Basically,
I have screenshot all the questions that we have been asked, like on Instagram. I'll chuck them up on here. Some are from when we asked you guys if you have any assumptions about us. The other ones are based on our our move to Canada, I should say. Oh, this is the first one I clicked on. I feel like you guys are the type to really make healthy snacks like pumpkin cookies as we're eating pizza. But what do you say to that?
I wouldn't say we're quite that healthy, but bake is definitely a lot healthier eating than I am.
I think I eat healthy.
Yeah.
Other than this.
But not pumpkin cookies.
No,
but
not
you have ventured
cookies.
into some alternative foods.
Like I'll have avocado or zucchini, like brownies or something.
But I've got far too much of a sweet tooth. I love my chocolate, my ice cream, so. So yeah, we do try to eat as healthy as possible. We are aware that when we are eating bad, that we are eating bad. So,
we see it as a treat. We don't do it all the time. Like this is maybe once a week, but I eat gluten and dairy free because I have autoimmune issues, so I can't eat high inflammation foods. And then you're at the gym all the time, and I've just joined back up at the gym. So yeah, we do eat healthy, and we both count calories and all that stuff, trying to get fit before our big move.
Yeah, questions about us. We don't drink alcohol.
No, I didn't drink alcohol for a long time, and that is true because I was on a very strict diet with my doctor because of the inflammation in my body, and it's very hard to find something like I can't drink beer or anything because of the gluten intolerance I have. But whiskey goes down well when I drink whiskey.
It takes a lot stronger and more straight than I would drink
That is pretty much all whiskey and ice.
But yeah, I am actually allergic to beer and cider, so probably one of the first Irish men you've ever heard of being allergic to beer. So I'm quite fine with whiskies, spirits, rums, the likes of that. So I do drink rum, not very often, but I suppose since Christmas we've been having a few every now and then.
Well, you've had the last 3 weeks off, so.
That's it, yeah.
We've been indulging a little bit more. Alright, how much were your flights each and how are you feeling? Thanks for asking. The flights to go to Canada were $4 to $4.5 grand. Let's say $4 to $5 grand because we might have to change them.
Yeah.
Depends what route you go
Let's just say 6.
No, it was $4 grand. But then when we had to stop, we're changing flights, which we'll discuss in another video. But that's Perth to Sydney, Sydney to LA, and then that was $4 grand, and then LA the next day to Vancouver is $500.
And that's also 4 seats as well, because Riley is now
classes a full seat.
Yeah, he's a full child, not full child. So he doesn't sit on her lap, he has to take a seat.
Yeah, he's not an infant. So, yeah, that's not too bad. But my sister may be coming back from Canada. And they're looking at, obviously, flying from Calgary to Perth. And it's triple the amount, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of COVID and Australia having restrictions and everything. And then they've got to quarantine 2 weeks in a mandatory hotel. So it's definitely a lot cheaper to fly to Canada from Australia than it is to come back to Australia at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, you ask the next question because otherwise we'll never get through them all.
Are you planning to send the kids to a school in British Columbia, or will you homeschool?
I'm guessing, because it runs out of, like, when people type it doesn't fill out. I am not homeschooling.
No, we've got the opportunity of 3 schools in the area?
2. I think it's 2.
2 schools in the local area. So no, we'll definitely be choosing one of those once we're over there.
There's a French-speaking school. I don't know whether that means it is just French-speaking, or whether it's like they speak English and then they do a French class once a day or something.
I'm assuming the majority of it would be English with a little bit of French. And if that is so, that's the school we'd probably choose to go to.
So you gave up everything and go to Canada on a work visa, right? Are you relying on the 2 PR application to work out so you can stay forever, or how does that work? The
permanent residency visa to work on?
I think some of the words were missing. Are you relying on the permanent residency application to work out so you can stay forever? Yes. So I had to read that like 3 times. I don't know why. There was a few words missing from that. That's why. Yes, we're going over on a work permit. Connor's going over there on a work permit. I'm applying for a TRP because if you saw my last video, that criminal rubbish, which I'm not a criminal, but if you watch the last video, I'll link it up here or something, you'll see. And that is valid for 2 years. And then in that time, we'll be trying to apply for permanent residency, and then if it ends up overlapping, we'll go for like a bridging visa in between. And yeah, the whole goal is to become permanent residents. Yeah. We've got good experience with myself becoming a permanent resident of Australia. So yeah, but we'll definitely, our aim is to stay in Canada if we enjoy it, which we definitely think we will. And we'll be doing everything possible to get that PR. So moving to Canada, what are you looking forward to most? You want to answer first or me?
Oh, I can answer. The first one, especially after today and the last few days, is probably the cooler weather, or a lot colder weather.
Yeah.
It's been 47 degrees here for the last 3 days, so...
Celsius.
Yeah, as I said, an Irishman in 47 degrees just doesn't work well.
Yeah, but an Australian in 47 degrees Celsius is hot.
Yeah, the air cons are struggling, so 47 is just too much. So I can't wait to get to Canada. I do realise it gets well down into the minuses, but you can always rug up, whereas you can only take so many layers off in Australia.
Until you reach skin and then you want to start ripping that off.
Yeah, so... definitely the weather conditions have attracted me, and also the scenery is just going to be unreal. Completely different to what we see in Australia, so that's going to be a really good experience, showing like going around and having a look at that with Beck and the kids.
For me, my main excitement for Canada is the wildlife. Like all the same things Conor said, but the wildlife I'm really excited about, and to get into photography, that's getting more into photography. I really want to get a extra large zoom lens. That's the plan. That's something I'm really looking forward to, and just to get, I don't know, just to be over there and sit on a mountain and no one around and realise that we've finally done it. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Fresh air.
Fresh air, yeah. And also, sounds really strange, but laying in bed and actually wanting to cuddle Conor because it's not so hot. We're like this, we're like, oh, it's just... I don't mean that in a horrible way. It's not because he's all sweaty or anything, but it's just... Remember when we were in Canada and Ireland? It's just nice. You can lay there and you can rug up and you want to have a hot chocolate, and it's just... It's nice. How old was your baby boy when you flew to Canada? Mama travel tips needed. So, when we first went to Canada, we've only been to Canada once. Actually, you went when you were a baby. You've been twice. We went in 2019. I'll link our whole playlist up here. To Alberta to see if we wanted to definitely move there. And Riley was 1 year old and 2 months. And he was just at that stage where, well, he was quite an early walker. He was already walking, so he wanted to get off our lap a lot, yeah.
He was already walking, but yeah, he got to the stage where he was confident walking and didn't want to sit down.
So our kids are pretty good with travel, as in, because of where we live, it's an hour to the big grocery shops and stuff, so they're used to sitting for long periods of time in the car. But the whole flight was it was 11 o'clock at night, our flight. And then it was 5 hours or 4 hours to Sydney to fly, Perth to Sydney, then a 6 hour stopover.
Yeah.
And then it was 14 hours from Sydney to Vancouver, and then an hour and a half stopover, and then an hour and a half flight from Vancouver to Calgary, get through customs, get a car, sit in a car for 2 hours, drive to the mountains. So
I think the worst part...
Holy shit.
The worst part was the 14-hour flight. That was 4 hours too long.
Yes, once it got to 10 hours, we're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was the longest flight we had. And we took turns throughout that flight holding Riley because that was going over his sleep time.
Yeah.
But I would say between the two of us, we probably were standing in the aisle for at least 6 hours of that flight between the two of us, rocking Riley to sleep.
And we didn't sleep the whole day before we flew out, because our flight was at 11 o'clock at night. So we'd been up 55 hours.
Yeah, we had no sleep. The kids had got some, but dealing with them and getting them to sleep, we just unfortunately...
We have no tips, do we? That was just rubbish. We didn't have any tips out of that whole question. It was just survive. And then you want coffee, and the coffee was terrible in Air Canada.
No, look, our like for what it was, our kids were really good with it.
They were.
They were just understandably frustrated and stuck in the seats. But now with Tilly, that little bit older, and Riley's almost coming into that age that they can get a bit more engrossed into iPads and games and TV shows. So that's definitely helped when they get to that stage. So another question for moving to Canada is, how much luggage are we going to be taking?
Nothing.
As little as possible. We've been planning this for, well, I say we. Beck has been planning this for close to 5 years.
You have time.
I've been supporting it, but Beck's been doing all the actual legwork.
The quotes to take like a sea container of stuff or half a sea container or whatever just wasn't justifiable for us.
By the time we leave, we really only have a few good things that we hope to take, and they're things like, you know, our laptop, our cameras, our, you know, smaller items. So the way that's worked out, and with selling everything else, we're hoping to get away with 2 large luggage bags each.
Well, that's all we're taking. So 2 23 kilo bags each is what we're allowed through the airline, and then hand luggage.
Yeah. So that'll get us, like all the hand luggage will get all our camera equipment and laptops and important documents.
And we're just taking bare minimum clothes and buying new clothes there because we have sort of known this for the last year. We just haven't bought too many new clothes because we knew that we'd be giving them to Goodwill. So
yeah. And then also, the Australian winter clothes is a lot more expensive than what you would imagine the Canadian prices to be.
Yeah.
Just simply because of the fact of Australia doesn't really get that cold, so they don't really need to supply them sort of clothes. So another assumption about us, you want more kids.
I'll let you answer this one.
Are they asking us that, or they're just telling us that they think
assuming that we want more kids?
No, I'm happy with what we've got. Big is always sort of...
I always say, because the kids are growing up so quickly and Riley does cute little things now, like, well, Tilly does too, but Riley's at that 2-year-old age. It's very sweet, giving me kisses and saying he loves me out of nowhere, or when he's upset, he says, what does he do? Sorry, Mum, love you. And he just has these little cheeky ways about him. It makes me sad knowing that he's probably our last one. So I do get clucky, but it doesn't last long. Like I don't know. I don't want to go through another pregnancy. We tried for so long with both of them and it was stressful and my pregnancies weren't great, and then I had to have emergency C-sections for both, and I just don't want to go through that. If we wanted another one, we've both talked about adopting or sponsoring, like fostering a child down the track once we've got our own ranch in Canada. And
once we get a stable lifestyle in Canada, that's a possibility if we feel that. But we've got a daughter and a son, so I feel lucky that we've got both.
Pigeon pair. I had to give up my hobby, like horse riding. That's not just a hobby, that's a life for me. So I'm sort of nearly at that stage in my life where I can get back into it again. And for me to have another baby, like I don't ride when I'm pregnant. I just don't want to risk it. And that's fine if other people do. But for me, I just didn't want to. I like the idea of fostering because I'd like to give a kid that can't have something or a nice, safe zone in their life that we can look after them. And it would be horrible to have to give them back to a terrible family or something, but at least that child knows that they have a safe zone that they can always come back to, and it would be heartbreaking, but at the same time we're helping someone. I just love that, and then having the horses and stuff to help them. I don't know, I've been saying this since before I met Conor that I'd like to do this, haven't I? And then I pitched it to him when we first met, and like first date, like, hey, I'm Beck. Do you wanna foster a child together?
Check the contracts out.
No, but we've been on the same page, so I think it would be a nice thing to do if we were financially set up for it, to do it and make sure that our kids are looked after too. Next question. Who are you leaving behind when you move to Canada? Beck. That sounds so sad. Like, who are you leaving behind? Who are you leaving behind? No, so when we go to Canada, like Conor said that his parents live in Ireland. So we're not leaving them behind because they're not in Australia. My sister...
Well, it's actually an advantage to them because the flights are a lot less to Canada, from Ireland to Canada.
Yeah, so I think it's 14 hours versus 24 hours or something. Plus, I think his parents would prefer to come to Canada rather than Australia because they don't really like the heat and the bugs and stuff. Bit different to Ireland. And my dad is here in Australia, which will be incredibly sad to say goodbye to him. But he's been very supportive, hasn't he? Like, follow your dreams, you don't want to have regrets. And sadly, my mum passed away in 2014 very unexpectedly to a heart attack. So that part's the hardest part with saying goodbye to Dad because I know that he doesn't have mum. I hate thinking that I'm saying goodbye to him. Oh, my sisters moved to Canada, like when?
4 months ago?
4 months ago, and unfortunately it hasn't worked out for them over there. So they're coming back. But it also makes it a little easier for me to say bye to Dad because now it's not me leaving him in Australia and he's the only one here. My sister's at least coming back. So it sucks that she won't be in Canada, but I know she'll visit a lot, and maybe they'll go back. I don't know.
Yeah, and like from my perspective, I suppose, from moving from Ireland to live in Australia, technology and everything's just moves so quickly and keeps moving that we don't feel so disconnected.
It's not too difficult, and I don't think that should stop anyone from going to move abroad because they're worried they will miss out on family stuff, because it's so easy now with technology, like Conor said. So, and you can always come back as long as you got money. You can come back.
Will you eventually move to Alberta or stay in British Columbia?
That's a good question. What do you reckon?
God knows, might end up in Alaska.
That's America.
Yeah, I know. Hard to say. For my line of work, Alberta is probably better suited. But
do you want to tell them what your line of work is?
No.
Stripper. No, it's not. Don't say that. I'm going to have to bleep that out. We get kicked off YouTube for that.
No. Yeah, well, I work in agricultural on the precision farming, so like technology inside the agricultural machines. And there's a lot more broadacre farm machinery work done in Alberta compared to British Columbia.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, British Columbia seems to be a lot more livestock, so cattle. So there's not as much work there for me. We've been lucky enough to find work there.
Yeah. The bloody flies in the house.
We haven't experienced too much. Like, we haven't experienced any of British Columbia. So
no, never been.
Just been doing a lot of googling and a lot of research, and
but it looks beautiful.
It looks really good. So it's very hard to say right now, sitting here. We're going to get, as soon as we get there and get working, get some experience, get some travelling around the local areas. Yeah, might be easier to make that decision.
Next one.
I think we're close
pretty
to
much
the end.
Yeah. Somebody said, I just want to say congratulations to you guys. You made it and you absolutely deserve it. Thank you. I didn't save who actually wrote all these. I just screenshot it. So, after you settle into your new home in BC, do you plan on travelling to see more of Canada? Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
So the original plan before COVID was we were moving to Alberta, get over there, staying in an Airbnb for a couple of weeks, buy a big RV, and then we're going to deck it out and travel for, 3-4 months. But then COVID hit, so that's not happening. So once we get over there, get a job, and we've got permanent residency, we plan on doing that, don't we? But before that, we'll just do weekend trips. Won't be doing long ones, but definitely we plan on seeing the whole of Canada. I'd love to go east to west. Can you please share the tips on how to find jobs from outside of Canada? Just wait for him to, get through that.
Can't really say much because Beck was actually responsible for finding this job for me.
Basically, if you're going for a farm job, you're pretty much set. Like, I don't think it's too hard to find a job as long as you're hardworking. And like, we just went onto Facebook. I went onto Facebook and I went onto Google Maps. I popped up 2 tabs up on the Mac. I popped up Google Maps and then I popped up Facebook and I typed in like Alberta or BC and Vancouver. And I looked at all the areas that looked all right. And then I looked up buy and sell Okotoks or buy and sell Red Deer, which is in Alberta. And found all the pages, joined to them, and then I popped up, copy and pasted a whole thing about both of us, saying that like I'm experienced in this, Conor's experienced in this. It was all farming based experience. I popped a few pictures of us up as a family, no selfies and stuff. It was all like nice photos and some machinery photos and stock photos and rodeo photos, just to show that we're hardworking and we have experience. And we had loads and loads and loads of people message us, giving us advice or phone numbers of people, or telling us all about different newspapers and websites and whatever. So we did that. And then what else did I do? Went on Kijiji. I don't even know if that's how you say it. Kijiji.
Multiple different platforms, yeah.
Indeed. The what's the agricultural? I'll write them all on the screen.
I'm not.
Okay, I think you two are best friends and love seeing how cute you both are together on YouTube. We are not cute. I hate being told I'm cute. That's no offense to the person who said that, but
Beck is very cute.
no, I don't like the word cute.
It's okay.
Don't. Thank you. That's very nice. We do. I don't know how to say this without sounding corny, so
That's right.
we do well together.
I work from home.
Yeah.
Beck looks after the kids.
So like Conor, since I've met him, when was it? 2013. No, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And he was living on a 70,000 acre station farm. And after 3 months asked me to move in with him. Because my lease was running out on the place I was renting. I was renting a few acres with my horse and dog. Yeah. 2 dogs I had.
Made financial sense.
He said it was for financial reasons. And I was like, oh, you're a bit cute. Yeah, and then I moved in with him within 3 months, and then we have been inseparable. Then we worked on the farm with each other. I quit my teaching job, worked on the station, and then Mum passed away, and we decided to move not closer to the city, but instead of 10-hour drive, it's a
1 hour.
1.5 hour drive. And
now I work from home, so
yeah,
the 4 of us are very close.
Meaning the 2 kids and us. We don't have some other couple with us.
Well.
That's what it sounds like. Swingers.
No.
We get all these swingers messaging us below.
No, okay.
No,
So.
we do well. And we do have little fights. We don't ever have fights where you just storm out the house and that's it and we don't see each other for days or anything stupid like that. That's just not healthy. But yeah. Is that the end of the questions? I think there was another one. Yeah. So are we taking the dogs was one of the questions, and if you've been following me on Instagram, unfortunately, so we've got 3 dogs. We've got 2 Kelpies and a Border Collie, and they were all coming with us to Canada. We noticed Turbo, our Kelpie, our youngest Kelpie, had a very bad limp, so we took him to the vet. Well, my dad took him because we were away.
They told us that it was a fracture and.
It could be a fracture. He didn't say that. I want to don't want to say the vet told us this and he was wrong.
There was a chance it could have been a fracture.
Yeah,
so
and he recommended an X-ray, but Dad said, "Oh well, if it's just a fracture,
it will heal on its own with some medication."
So he went on medicine for a week, and then we came home, and it still wasn't better. So we took him to the vet, and they X-rayed him. And I left him there because of COVID. We couldn't go in the back with him and everything. So I went grocery shopping and then I came back. And our vet is so lovely. Like, he's the nicest guy. He looked more sad than, like, well, not than me, but he was nearly tearing up. And I was like, oh, no, it's broken, isn't he? And he's like, no, it's worse than that. And we found out Turbo has a tumour. I don't want to cry, so I'm just going to skim through this. So yeah, he has a tumour in his leg and it's aggressive, and it came on within 2 weeks. We noticed those symptoms. Even if we got it sorted like that first week, there's nothing we could really do. Our options are to amputate his leg and start on chemo straight away. And if we do all that, he only lasts 6 to 12 months max. Yep. And we don't want to put him through that. If it meant he would have a full life and he just he would have one leg short, and that's fine, we would do it. But not for 6 months. That's not fair on him. So we are unfortunately not taking Turbo to Canada. We're going to have to put him down before we leave. Yeah, we're taking the other 2 dogs, Turbo, Wolf and Harley. They're coming with us.
Yeah, they're definitely coming with us.
And we plan on doing a whole video, like a separate video, so then some of you might not be interested in it and others will, on us taking them. So it'll be like what the cost is to take the 2 dogs, the company we went with, and us picking them up from the airport and dropping them off, and the vaccine. So that will be a completely whole different video which we'll put together once we're in Canada. But yeah, anyway, that's a horrible way to end this video.
Let's try and get a happier question.
I think that was sort of the last question. I don't think there was any more, and I just ended this whole video on this sad story. Oh, here we go. This is a better last one. You want horses on your new property in Canada. That was an assumption. Do you think we want horses on our new property in Canada?
Probably not.
Yes, 100%. That's a given. But that won't be till we have our own.
Yeah,
own
I think probably definitely for Beck's choice of moving to Canada, at least 90% of the reason is so that she can get more into horses.
Yeah. Yes.
10% the scenery. 90%.
Well, rodeos in Australia, not that I'm going to Canada to do rodeos, it's just I like the Western style of riding, but rodeos in Australia and before I had the kids was what I was into, and you have to travel so far, like hours and hours and hours to get to each rodeo. Like some of the girls that are into rodeo in WA have to go all the way out to Meekatharra, which is really far.
Yeah, the competitions are smaller here, and for obvious reasons, with the distances. Mm-hmm. So
I'm not going over there to become competitive in rodeos, but it's nice to know that local ones will be happening a lot more often and closer.
Yeah. Down the track, there will be horses. I don't know whether I'll have a horse.
I reckon you'll.
There'll probably be enough horses on the property that I won't actually need to have one.
Well, when we arrive in Canada and we work on the ranch, we're not going to go and buy a horse straight away because there'll be 300 horses on that ranch, and I'm sure I can borrow one or something. And we want that freedom to be able to go and explore Canada a bit before being locked down with having all these horses, and then we have to find someone to feed them and all that. So I will definitely be getting a horse, but I want to make sure that we can get permanent residency before I lock into buying a horse, because when I get a horse, I want it to be my forever horse.
Yeah, we've had horses before, and we do not like rehoming them.
Yeah, we like to buy good quality quarter horse and then keep it unless I sold them because I couldn't ride them anymore because I had no time because of being a mum. But that was a good reason.
Yeah, we probably spent more time vetting the people that were taking our horses than we did purchasing those horses.
Yeah.
We probably, to make sure that they're going to the right place, and thankfully
and
they've all worked out.
They did, and the people that own Cash and Tank and stuff have always been send us messages and letting us know that they're all good. It'll be a lot of borrowing and leasing horses for a little bit, and then once we own our own ranch, we'll 100% be buying our own, and I'll be off like a shot to the mountains with all my bells on and bear spray and ready to get rid of the cougars and the bears. I'm probably exaggerating that, but
yeah.
So yeah, are we finished?
I think so.
Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you guys in our next video. See ya.
This world with broken toes from my missteps and told you so.